Our car bumped down the long dirt driveway. Trees with twisted branches clawed at the sky on both sides. They looked like bony fingers. I gripped my wife Chloe's hand. "It's perfect," I whispered. The farmhouse stood at the end of the road. It was old. The white paint was peeling like a bad sunburn. A big wraparound porch sagged in the middle. It looked like a frowning mouth, but to us, it was a dream come true. We had finally escaped the noisy city. No more sirens, no more car horns, just peace and quiet. Or so we thought. We were so wrong. So terribly, terribly wrong. Chloe jumped out of the car, her red hair like a splash of fire against the graying wood of the house. "Liam, look, it's even better than the pictures." Her voice echoed, then vanished. It was swallowed by the silence. The windows looked like dark, empty eyes. They stared at us. They watched our every move. I felt a shiver slither down my spine. It felt like a cold, slimy worm. Our first few nights were strange. I would wake up in the middle of the night. The silence in the house was so loud it hurt. It was the kind of quiet that makes you think you've gone deaf. But then I'd hear it. A tiny sound. So faint, I thought I was imagining it. It sounded like a far-off cry, like a baby whimpering in another room. I'd sit up in bed, my heart pounding like a drum. I'd listen and listen. But then it would be gone, vanished into the thick black silence. Chloe slept right through it. She didn't hear a thing. You're just not used to the quiet yet, she'd say in the morning. But the sounds didn't stop. They came every night, always around 3 in the morning. Sometimes it was a soft sob, a sad, lonely sound that made my chest feel tight. Other times it was a gasp, a quick, sharp intake of breath, like someone had been startled or hurt. I started leaving the bedroom door open, a crack. I told myself it was to let the air circulate. But really, I was trying to hear better. I was trying to figure out where the sounds were coming from. They seemed to be coming from everywhere at once. From the walls, from the floors, from the very air around us. The whispers were no longer whispers. They were cries. They were getting louder every single night. It started as soon as we turned off the lights. A low moan from the cellar. A sharp cry from the attic. And then another and another. The house filled with them. A chorus of sorrow and pain. Not random noises. I could hear words. A woman's voice would plead.
"Please stop!"
A child would cry out. It was like listening to ghosts. They were trapped inside our house with us. Chloe heard them now too. We were huddled together in bed. A blood-curdling scream ripped through the silence. It felt right next to our ears. Chloe screamed and buried her face in my chest. I held her tight. We were shaking. The scream went on, then cut off. Silence rushed back in. The echo stayed. We sat trembling, listening to the house weep. We had to know. The next day, we drove to the town library. Old, dusty stacks, paper and time. We searched microfilm, fingers smudged with ink, looking for information about our farmhouse, any tragedies, any accidents, and we found them. The articles told stories of horror, a family in the 1930s lost to sickness. Their cries went unanswered. A farmer in the 1960s, driven mad. His desperate shout heard only by the walls. The worst, 1980s, a man kept his family prisoner. The paper printed their pictures, a mother, 2 children. Their eyes looked so sad. The article described their suffering. It mentioned screams. Neighbors had complained. No one acted until it was too late. We sat in the silent library, the hum the only sound. We finally understood. The house wasn't haunted by ghosts. It was haunted by sounds. Every scream, every cry of pain within its walls was trapped, held in the wood and plaster, and the house played them back for us every night. The knowledge made everything worse, so much worse. Before, the sounds were a mystery, a spooky puzzle. Now, they had faces, they had stories. When we heard the child's cry, we pictured the little boy from the newspaper photograph. When we heard the woman pleading, we saw the terrified mother. The house was a museum of misery, a library of pain, and we were the only visitors. The end came on a cold, stormy night. Rain lashed against the windows like angry fists. The wind howled, sounding like a monster trying to get in. But the storm outside was nothing compared to the storm inside. The screams were louder than ever before. It was as if the storm was making them stronger. They weren't just echoes anymore. They were real. They were happening right now. A terrible, agonizing shriek from the attic made us both jump. It sounded like someone was being murdered. "I can't take this anymore!" She ran for the front door. I ran after her. "Chloe, wait! The storm is too bad!" She fumbled with the old iron bolt on the door. It was stuck, rusted shut. "It won't open! It's stuck! We're locked in!" The screams in the house swirled around us, a cacophony of fear and agony from decades past. And now, Chloe's frantic cries were joining them. I grabbed the bolt and pulled with all my might. It wouldn't budge. It was like the house was holding us, refusing to let us go. We were screaming and screaming, our voices joining the ghostly choir that had tormented us for weeks. We were becoming part of the house's terrible memory. And then, a new sound. A chilling, horrifying sound that cut through our own panic. It was our voices, echoing. Faintly at first, then clearer. We heard my desperate yell for help. We heard Chloe's shriek of panic. Our voices were now part of the house. They were trapped here, forever, just like us. And on quiet nights, the house would remember our screams too.